knower of reality. One of the most famous allegories in the history of human thought is found in the seventh book of Plato's Republic, the simile of the cave. The main purpose of this allegory is to describe the ignorant state of humanity and its possible passage to the state of knowledge. According to Plato, most men are like prisoners, tied in a cave since their childhood and able to see in only one direction, ignorant of all that is behind them and incapable of suspecting the existence of anything other than what is in front. If there were a fire behind the prisoners and objects between them and the fire, they would see nothing but shadows cast on the wall facing them. They would not even suspect that there existed objects and the fire of an unimaginable concreteness and splendor. Entering into this allegory, one is reminded of the theory of ignorance and knowledge found in the Upanishads. Ignorance, according to the Upanishads, is the apprehension of the multiplicity without the awareness of the underlying light of unity. The apprehension of the multiplicity is analogous to the prisoner's perception of shadows. Knowledge, according to the Upanishads, is the concentrated vision of the comprehending consciousness of unity, multiplicity. The Upanishads also declare that we are in a state of bondage or imprisonment since we are tied by the senses which look outward, Bahirmukha, and can apprehend only appearances, not reality. The path of knowledge then consists in turning inward, Antarmukha, away from appearances and towards the inner self, which is one with the universal and transcendent self, Atman or Brahman. Plato also makes a distinction between objects of sense perception and the objects of reason or the soul. The former are phenomena of becoming, which are real, unreal, and matters of opinion, while the latter are essences of real being, matters of knowledge. That a good teacher must possess knowledge may be universally acknowledged, but the controversies begin as soon as we try to define knowledge. For example, knowledge is often equated with information. In the Upanishads, however, knowledge is described as the realization of that, from the knowing of which everything becomes known. In Plato too, knowledge refers to the soul's ideative perception of the real, the good, from the knowing of which the cause of the shadows and appearances is known, and one ceases to be a prisoner and becomes free. A good teacher, according both to the Upanishad and to Plato, is one who has liberated himself from the bondage of believing in shadows and appearances and thus knows the real. But it is not enough to comprehend reality. Once the process of apprehending reality is known, this knowledge must be applied in designing a process of education from childhood. Says Plato, our reason and soul should be hammered free of the laden weight of ignorance and led towards the things that are real and true. It is a normal experience of all those who have ascended the heights that they linger there and are disinclined to return to the lower levels of existence. But, says Plato, the mark of a good teacher is that he returns, quote, to go down again among those bondsmen and share their labors and honors, whether they are of less or of greater worth, unquote. In other words, the good teacher is moved to go down in order to uplift those who are still tied to ignorance, that they too can see the real and attain to freedom. Indeed, we have here the universal truth that the good teacher seeks pupils even as good pupils seek good teachers.